Rain hammered against the roof of the ambulance station as another storm rolled across the mountains of West Virginia. It was 1:43 a.m. The small town of Black Ridge was almost completely cut off from the rest of the county. Dense forests surrounded the winding mountain roads, and after midnight, almost no one dared to drive through them. For veteran paramedic Ethan Carter, however, it was just another night shift. After 9 years in emergency medical services, Ethan had seen almost everything: fatal crashes, heart attacks, hunting accidents, and desperate rescues deep inside the Appalachian wilderness. His partner that night was Noah Briggs, a 24-year-old EMT who had joined the department only 3 weeks earlier. It was Noah's first overnight shift. "You always get storms like this?" Noah asked while sipping stale coffee. Ethan smiled. "Storms don't bother me." "What does?" Ethan looked toward the rain-covered window. "The calls that come when nobody should be out there." Noah laughed. "I thought you didn't believe in ghost stories." "I don't." A loud electronic tone suddenly echoed through the station. Priority 1. Emergency call. The dispatcher spoke immediately. "Unit 7, respond immediately." Ethan grabbed the radio. "Go ahead. Possible multiple victims. Vehicle crash. Black Ridge Road. Mile marker 66. Ethan froze. "Repeat that location." "Mile marker 66. His face changed instantly. "That road doesn't exist anymore." The dispatcher hesitated. "I know. It collapsed almost 5 years ago." "I know. So why are we being sent there?" Silence. Then the dispatcher quietly answered, "Because that's where the 911 call's coming from." 3 minutes later, the ambulance was racing through heavy rain. Red and blue emergency lights reflected off soaked trees as thunder shook the mountains. Inside the cab, Noah kept checking the navigation screen. Something wasn't right. The GPS route looked strange. It wasn't using the current county map. Instead, it displayed an old mountain road that had supposedly disappeared years ago. "No way," Noah whispered. "This road isn't even on Google Maps." Ethan didn't answer. He had driven these mountains for nearly a decade. He knew exactly where mile marker 66 used to be. There was nothing there anymore, only a collapsed hillside. Yet the GPS continued guiding them forward. 25 minutes later, the paved highway became narrower. The forest closed in around them. Cell phone signals disappeared. Radio reception faded into static. Then, the GPS screen went black. For 5 seconds. Nothing. Suddenly it turned back on by itself. The map had changed. Now a thin gray road stretched deeper into the mountains, a road neither of them had ever seen before. Noah frowned. "Did dispatch update the route?" "I didn't touch anything." Neither had Ethan. A few minutes later, something appeared in the headlights. Someone. A man stood perfectly still in the middle of the road, barefoot, wearing a blood-stained hospital gown. His head hung low. Rain poured over him, yet he never moved. Ethan immediately stopped the ambulance. Both men jumped out. "EMS!" Ethan shouted. "Can you hear me?" The man slowly raised his head. No injuries, no cuts, no bruises, only 2 completely black eyes, not dark brown, not shadows, pitch black. He never blinked, never breathed. Then, without saying a single word, he slowly lifted one arm and pointed toward the forest. Lightning flashed. For less than a second, the entire road turned white. When darkness returned, the man was gone. There were no footprints, no sound, nothing. Only rain. Noah's voice shook. "Tell me you saw him." Ethan stared into the empty road. "Yeah, I saw him." Neither of them spoke for the next 10 minutes. The ambulance continued deeper into the mountains. The rain grew heavier. The forest seemed endless. Then, the radio suddenly turned on by itself. Neither of them had touched it. Static filled the cabin. A man's voice slowly emerged. "Unit 7. Both paramedics looked at each other. "Don't let them inside." The transmission ended. Only static remained. No dispatcher, no emergency tone, nothing. Noah quickly lowered the volume. What the hell was that? Ethan didn't answer, because he recognized the voice. He just couldn't remember where he had heard it before. The GPS announced, "You have arrived," but there was nothing. No crash, no injured victims, no vehicles, just darkness. Then Noah pointed toward the trees. "Ethan, about 50 yards inside the forest, an ambulance sat abandoned between the pines. Its paint was faded. Rust covered the doors. The emergency lights rotated slowly, even though the engine wasn't running." Ethan's heart skipped a beat. He recognized the logo immediately. It was the old Black Ridge County EMS logo. Retired over 20 years ago, no ambulance carrying that logo should still exist, especially here, not after what happened in 1998. Noah whispered, "Should we check it?" Ethan hesitated. Every instinct told him to leave. But if someone was trapped inside, they couldn't ignore it. The two paramedics slowly approached. The rear doors were closed. A familiar electronic sound echoed from inside. Beep. Sound a cardiac monitor. Still running. Impossible. The ambulance had clearly been abandoned for decades, yet something inside still had power. Ethan placed one hand on the rear door. The cold metal felt strangely warm. Then, 3 slow knocks came from inside. Both men froze. Someone or something was inside the ambulance. Ethan slowly reached for the handle. He unlocked the door. He took one deep breath and pulled. The rusted rear doors groaned as Ethan slowly pulled them open. A cold blast of air rushed out, not the damp chill of the rain, but a freezing cold that felt like it had been trapped inside for years. The ambulance interior was dark. Only the cardiac monitor cast a faint green glow. Beep, beep sound. The sound echoed through the silent forest. "Ethan," Noah whispered, "there isn't anyone in there." At first glance, he was right. The stretcher was empty. Medical bags lay scattered across the floor, covered in dust. Old oxygen tanks were chained to the wall. Everything looked as though it had been abandoned decades ago. Yet nothing made sense. The monitor was still running. The IV pump was switched on. Even the overhead light flickered every few seconds. Ethan stepped inside. The air smelled strange, not like decay, not like mold. It smelled exactly like a hospital emergency room, mixed with something metallic, fresh blood. He knelt beside the cardiac monitor. The screen showed a perfectly normal heart rhythm, 72 beats per minute. There has to be a patient connected somewhere. He followed the ECG cables. They disappeared beneath a white blanket lying on the stretcher. Slowly, he lifted one corner. Nothing. No body. Only the wires. The monitor was reading the heartbeat of someone who wasn't there. Suddenly, beep! The rhythm spiked. 120 beats per minute, then 140, 160. The empty stretcher shook violently. Metal straps snapped open by themselves. Noah stumbled backward. "Ethan!" Before either of them could move. Everything stopped. Silence. The monitor went black. The ambulance became completely still. "Let's get out," Noah said immediately. Ethan nodded. Neither of them wanted to stay another second. They stepped outside. The rain had stopped. The forest was completely silent, too silent. No wind, no insects, nothing. Then Ethan noticed something strange. Our ambulance. It wasn't where they had parked it. Both men turned around. The road behind them was empty. The ambulance had vanished. "What?" Noah's voice cracked. No, that's impossible." They run back toward the road. Nothing, no tire tracks, no flashing lights, no engine noise. It was as if the ambulance had never existed. Their radios were dead, their phones displayed no service. Even worse, the GPS now showed only one location: Black Ridge Road. No roads leading out, no map, just a single blinking dot. A loud engine suddenly echoed through the trees. Far away, an ambulance siren. Both men looked toward the sound. Red and blue lights flashed between the trees. Another ambulance was approaching. Finally, help. They waved their flashlights. The vehicle slowly emerged from the darkness. Old, very old. Very. It was the same model as the abandoned ambulance. The faded county logo was identical. It rolled to a stop only a few feet away. The driver's window slowly lowered. Inside sat two paramedics. Both wore uniforms from the late 1990s. Both stared forward without blinking. Neither looked alive. Their skin was pale. Their eyes were hollow. The driver spoke in a calm voice. "Need assistance?" Ethan swallowed. "Yes." "Our ambulance disappeared." The driver nodded. "It always does." "What?" "You answered the last call." Neither paramedic smiled, neither moved. The passenger slowly turned toward Noah. "You shouldn't have opened the rear doors." Without warning, their ambulance radio suddenly came to life. A woman's terrified voice screamed through the static. "If anyone hears this, they're not patients, they're collecting crews." Gunfire echoed, then silence. The transmission ended. The old ambulance immediately drove away. Within seconds, it disappeared into the thick fog. No tire tracks, no engine noise, nothing. Neither Ethan nor Noah spoke. Finally, Ethan whispered, "We're leaving." "But how?" "We walk." They grabbed emergency flashlights and started following the road downhill. After nearly 40 minutes, they found something impossible: a weathered wooden sign covered in moss. Noah read it: Black Ridge County EMS Station closed, October 18th, 1998. Noah frowned. The station closed almost 30 years ago. Ethan looked beyond the sign. An old brick building stood hidden among the trees. Its ambulance bay doors were open. Inside, several ambulances sat covered in dust. Their emergency lights suddenly flashed on together: red, blue, red, blue. Then, the station's main door slowly creaked open by itself. From inside the darkness, a voice quietly called, "Unit 7. We've been waiting for you." The station door stood open. No wind, no movement, only darkness. Ethan tightened his grip on his flashlight. "We go in, find another radio, call for help, and get out." Noah nodded, although every instinct told him to run. The moment they stepped inside, the smell hit them. Old disinfectant, rust, and something that smelled like fresh blood. The reception area looked frozen in time. A wall calendar still displayed October 1998. Coffee mugs sat on desks as if the staff had just walked away. Patient report forms were scattered across the floor. Dust covered everything, except the footprints leading deeper into the building. Fresh footprints. Someone had walked there recently. The hallway ended at the old dispatch room. A single desk lamp suddenly switched on. The room was empty. Yet the radio console powered itself up. Static filled the speakers. Then a familiar voice spoke. "Unit 7. Ethan's blood ran cold. It was his own voice. "And we're 5 minutes out," another voice answered. "Copy that, Unit 7. The transmission sounded recent, not old, not distorted, exactly like a normal EMS radio call. Then the date appeared on the dispatch monitor. October 18th, 1998. Noah stared at the screen. That's impossible. Before either of them could react, another transmission played. "Vehicle located." No survivors. Ambulance Unit 7 missing. The room fell silent. Ethan whispered, "Unit 7? But that's our unit." A loud metallic crash echoed from the ambulance garage. They run toward the sound. One of the old ambulances had started by itself. Its headlights illuminated the garage. The rear doors slowly opened. A stretcher rolled out on its own. Someone was lying beneath a white sheet. The cardiac monitor beeped steadily. Noah carefully pulled back the sheet. His flashlight slipped from his hand. The patient was Ethan, exactly as he looked now. Same uniform, same boots, same county badge. But his face was pale. His chest wasn't moving. His eyes were closed. No pulse, no breathing. Ethan stumbled backward. "This isn't real." The body suddenly opened its eyes. It smiled, then whispered, "You were never supposed to answer that call." The lights exploded. Darkness swallowed the garage. A chorus of voices filled the building. Dozens of emergency radio calls, people crying, children screaming, dispatchers shouting, paramedics begging for help. Every voice ended the same way. "Please don't send another ambulance." Flashlights flickered wildly. Figures began appearing throughout the station. Paramedics, police officers, firefighters, patients on stretchers, all silently watching. Their uniforms came from different decades: 1987, 1993, 1998, 2009, 2018. Each one had answered the same mysterious emergency call. None had ever returned. The dispatcher spoke again. Calm, emotionless. "The road chooses a crew. It always has. When someone answers, the previous crew goes free." Noah looked around. "You mean..." Ethan finished the sentence. "We replace them." Every ghost in the station slowly turned toward them. Then they started walking. Not fast, just slowly, as if they knew escape was impossible. Ethan grabbed Noah. "Run!" They sprinted through the garage out into the storm. The forest seemed alive. Trees blocked the road. The ground shifted beneath their feet. Behind them, dozens of ambulance sirens echoed through the mountains. One, then two, then 10, then hundreds. Every missing ambulance was coming. At the end of the road, Ethan saw their modern ambulance, engine running, emergency lights flashing. "The keys are inside!" They jumped in. Ethan slammed the accelerator. The ambulance shot down the mountain road. Behind them, a convoy of old ambulances emerged from the fog. Their lights glowed silently. No sirens, only the sound of hundreds of cardiac monitors. Beep sound. The road twisted sharply. Fog covered everything. Then, a massive fallen tree blocked the highway. "There!" Noah shouted. Too late. Ethan hit the brakes. The ambulance skidded across the wet pavement. Everything went white. Morning. A state police cruiser arrived after reports of a crash. The officers found a damaged ambulance beside the road. The engine was cold. There was no blood, no bodies, no footprints, only two untouched paramedic helmets inside the cab. The official report listed Ethan Carter and Noah Briggs as missing in the line of duty. No trace of either man was ever found. The case was eventually closed. 3 years later, a rookie paramedic started his first overnight shift in Black Ridge. At 1:43 a.m., the station alarm sounded. The dispatcher spoke calmly. "Unit 7. Possible multiple injuries. Black Ridge Road. Mile marker 66. The rookie frowned. "I thought that road was gone." The dispatcher didn't answer. Outside, rain began to fall. Far away in the mountains, an old ambulance slowly switched on its emergency lights, and from somewhere inside its dark patient compartment, 3 slow knocks echoed against the rear doors.